And just before that beat drops to that wonderfully beautiful montage, let me take a minute to introduce you to what this video is really all about. It also transpires that this is the last video of 2018, which blows my mind. It seems like this year has evaporated. 80 flights, countless countries, unbelievable opportunities which I've had the grace and fortune of being able to share with you guys. But importantly, I want to address something, and that's the support of this channel. Now, it's a funny thing in the YouTube world, in that whenever you end up doing a brand deal or a brand comes on board and comes to support the channel, you sometimes get a bit of pushback from the audience and the community because they feel like they're being sold to, and I get that. But I've always tried to team up with brands that get it. They get the idea, they get the concept of what this is all about. The idea being, if I couldn't do this content without the help and support of a given brand, that's when it works, right? It's activating something that otherwise wouldn't be able to be activated. That's what happened this year with Michelin. So at the beginning of 2018, Michelin came to me. They felt that myself and the channel was a great alignment with their brand. Now, little did you guys know that back in the 70s, my dad actually worked for Michelin as a tyre test driver. So it was crazy how things have almost come full circle when they came back and decided to speak to me about it. They had no idea that my dad was a test driver for their tyres back in the day. So when they approached me, it was amazing to talk to them about the history and how things have changed. And what made me say yes to the partnership with these guys was the fact that they put very little rules in place in terms of the kind of content that I could create. And that was the number one thing for me. They weren't controlling. They were here to help activate and help support and open doors to content that otherwise wouldn't have been possible without them. So, number one, this is kind of me highlighting the amazing things which I've been able to do with Michelin this year, and in turn share and give you guys a sort of portal, a window into this wonderful world of cars that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to without their support this year. So half of it is a look back, reminiscing on the amazing things we've done with them, and the other half really is a thank you to you guys and Michelin. I say you guys because you've really embraced it. The feedback from the audience of the things that I've been doing with Michelin, the Michelin missions as they became known, have been fantastic. And it transpires that we're going to be doing some more stuff with them next year. I shall be asking you questions about that towards the end of this video. But first of all, here's a little bit of a recap about what's been going on this year. Welcome back to Paul Ricard. Welcome back to yet another road trip. This is the second in a month. Hello, welcome to Goodwood. Welcome to my divine dicky bow, and as you might have guessed, I am at the Goodwood Revival. Lapland, no less. And manual. In German, handgerissen. 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 Yeah, you rise with your hand. Handgerissen. Careful where you do that.
welcome to Italy, welcome to Courmayeur, welcome to day 2 of my Michelin mission with Supercars Club of Arabia. 3, 2, 1, action. Good morning, welcome to... That would be the alarm for everyone get inside for the driver's briefing. Good morning, welcome to the... Let's try that again.
Ooh, pretty ridiculous ride, and that's just the stuff that I've done with Michelin. That's completely separate from everything else that has unfolded this year. So how did it start? Well, the first activation I did with them was on an amazing piece of technology called connected tyres. It literally places an RFID chip into these special track-focused tyres, which connects to a box in your car, which relays the data to your phone. And what that does is feeds back in real time the condition of your tyres based on how you are individually driving. This isn't to be confused with, just simple tyre pressures that you get inside most cars. This reads your individual driving style, and when you get back to the pits, gives you recommendations to the tyre pressures of each individual tyre that they should be based on the track you're driving, the temperature that the track is, the conditions, be it hot, cool, wet, damp, etc., and most importantly, your driving style. That's a very, very, very cool thing. It monitors how you drive and gives you feedback on it. That's how I started the year with these guys. I'd never seen anything like it before, and I'm dying to try it out further next year. So that was a very cool piece of content. And then from then is when we started these things which I created called Michelin Missions, which, as I said at the beginning, was all about Michelin opening doors that I otherwise couldn't open on my own, in turn allowing me to bring you content which you would otherwise impossibly see. So the first thing I did was went to the World Endurance Championship prologue, which is the sort of big warm-up before the World Endurance Championship starts. People often forget or don't associate Michelin tyres with the Michelin Food Guide. Yes, they are the same company, so Michelin star restaurants are the same brand. And I wanted to sort of overlap this. I wanted to highlight this unison, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool to draw parallels between racing car teams and chefs teams? So I went and had an in-depth look at how it works in the pits during a race and how it works in a Michelin star kitchen. I actually got to sit at the chef's table in his office of a 3-star Michelin chef called Christophe Baquier. It was mind-blowing. But you might be thinking, so what makes this exclusive? Well, first of all, it's very hard to get access to the WEC Prologue because it's very strictly for teams and inside media only. But because Michelin are a partner that supply the tyres for a lot of the teams, they opened the door there. But what was really special was getting to place a camera inside an LMP1 car. Now, at first this might seem no big deal to you guys because you get to see it. If it's on TV, you can see inside those cars. But to get permission to remove it from the realms of WEC and put it onto a different channel, that's unheard of. Okay, so when you're watching this inside footage, I find it really important to try and highlight to you guys how difficult it is to get content like that. And I only do it for the love of bringing it to you. I love to try and step up the game each and every time, and this was a perfect example of Michelin opening doors which I otherwise couldn't have done. Categorically, without those guys, you would not have had the footage of that car. And with it being the prologue, no one has seen that footage. We went on the inside of a team together with Michelin and managed to place my GoPro in their car, in an LMP1 car. I cannot tell you how bonkers that is. So these are the things which happened along the way in order to open doors, and I think the results have been pretty cool. And then after that, we moved on to the Goodwood Festival of Speed. Now this is one of my favourite car events of the entire year. And I actually got to drive up the hill several times that weekend, but not just in any car. In true exclusive Michelin style, they gave me the first drive in the Koenigsegg Regera. That's Koenigsegg's latest, greatest hybrid hypercar. In total, it's 1,500 brake horsepower. And the run up the Festival of Speed hill climb is that narrow. It's a single track farm lane. It's absolutely tiny. And what was fascinating about the Regera was it's a single geared car. There is no changing gears. When you look inside the car and at the wheel, there is the up and down paddles, but they're not there to change gears up and down. They're in there to put it into reverse drive and pull them together E mode. So It's a really weird car to jump in. Having never driven this car before, you're being watched by thousands of fans at the Festival of Speed watching cars go up and down, and you have to put on this show and film for you guys at the same time and talk while you're going up in one of the fastest cars I've ever driven. So it was somewhat of a baptism of fire, but God, was that amazing. The hill climb took me just over a minute, and even now it's one of my favorite experiences in a car because it was so intense but over so quickly. And then it's not until you get to the top of the sort of holding pen at the top of the hill climb that you really sit there and debrief, and you're surrounded by all these other incredible cars. These tyres are coping with 1,500 brake horsepower, but even more crazy is 1,500 pounds-feet of torque, not Newton meters, pounds-feet. And the car is developed on Michelin tyres that you can just buy from a normal supplier. It's crazy. They're not specifically developed for the car. You can just go and buy these tyres from your local tyre dealer and fit them on your Koenigsegg Regera if you just so happen to be in that position. And that really did highlight to me what a special compound these tyres are. So that was very, very cool. And then one of the projects which was, I guess, the bigger project within the main Michelin project was something called Drive Style. Now this was a very big budget production. It allowed me to travel the world making a very high production quality TV series. Now I say TV series because there was a team of 30 involved in every one of these episodes. For clarification, when I film, it's just me. So to be on set with 30 other crew was really like stepping into a different world. It really was like movie land. We were shooting on Aries, we were shooting on Reds. It was very big budget stuff. And that saw me go to the Arctic Circle, drifting a BMW rally car and the brand new M5 on ice. We then went to the Col de Torini. We closed that down and we raced around on it all night. That was a bucket list moment I didn't even know could be on the bucket list. Imagine that. The Col de Torini closed just for you. Ridiculous experience. But I think my favorite of all three shoots was taking the CEO of Aston Martin, Andy Palmer's GT8 prototype car. That thing sounded incredible. And once again, Michelin arranged to close some of Scotland's greatest driving roads and give us free rein to race against a classic DB6 and Andy Palmer's GT8. Was an incredible experience in the height of summer, beautiful weather, incredible scenarios. And we also got to drive the road in Skyfall as well, which was also a very cool bonus. And then after that, I did a 4-day road trip with Supercars Club Arabia. Now over in the Middle East, Michelin have just become the exclusive sponsor of a supercar club called SCA, Supercars Club Arabia. Now every year they do a massive tour, and it's often in different parts of the world. This year it was throughout Europe. So imagine a convoy, a fleet no less, of the latest, greatest supercars coming over from the Middle East, descending on Europe and doing a tour all around. They went from France to Italy to Spain. Unfortunately, I didn't make the Andorra section because I had to go off and do my next project with Michelin, which was at the Goodwood Revival. But nonetheless, once again, it was that kind of exclusive insight to a totally different culture coming over and immersing you guys in what it's like to be involved in that drive. We went off and found some of the greatest driving roads I've ever experienced, and we were being tailed by some of the greatest supercars of our time. So I hope you guys enjoyed that journey. And then, as I mentioned, I then left there, went to the Goodwood Revival, and I can't believe it, but I managed to get inside Ford GT40, multi-million pounds worth of car. And then not only did I get a ride in the car, we then put a camera in the car during the race. So we managed to get exclusive race footage from the inside of an original GT40. This is bonkers exclusive content, and this is exactly what I'm talking about when I mean that these guys have come along and complemented the channel, not taken it over. They've really just opened doors. And this hasn't been about selling tyres. This has been about highlighting the different worlds that Michelin operate in and complement this channel. Now, what I want to hear from you guys is, how have you liked it? How have you liked the collaboration with Michelin so far? For me, it's been incredibly enjoyable. As I mentioned, I've got to share things which I could only ever have dreamt of as a result of these guys assisting. But this is year one. This is our sort of test phase. And there's no better feedback like your feedback. We're going into 2019 together with Michelin again with somewhat of a blank canvas. And I'd like to take the opportunity to ask you guys what you want to see. Now, we're dealing with, in my opinion, the best tire company in the world. These guys have some serious connections. So think about the brands that these guys support in terms of the tires that they apply to cars, and think about the things that we could possibly do with that. And don't forget the Michelin Food Guide thing as well, because that could definitely open some interesting opportunities. Anyway, that, as I mentioned, was the roundup of the stuff that I've been doing with these guys this year. It's my last video of 2018. It's been absolutely incredible. I want to take this moment to thank you guys so much for your support this year. 2018, from a content point of view, has been my favorite. As I mentioned, 80 flights, some incredible opportunities. This year has seen the launch of some amazing cars. And I've got a funny feeling that 2019 is going to be year of the hypercar. So don't miss out. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Wishing you a very happy new year. And I'll see you next time. Ciao.